How's that? Okay. So, anyway, I last week I talked about sending my senators letters, emails about my positions, and I'm glad I'm retired to have time to do that stuff. You know, it's only the old people that seem to communicate with their legislators so often. At least that's my experience from the mayor's office. Most of the people that wrote in were probably seniors. It doesn't mean the points weren't good. It just means that they have a little bit more time on their hands like I do. So I had sent Banks and Young a letter last week, and here is what I got in response from Senator Banks. From Senator Banks, and it was January 20th. Subject: do you approve of President Trump's agenda? ? And then he goes into diatribe about standing up for Hoosiers starts with hearing from you. Hoosiers deserve listeners who listen and act. I've always believed in the best ideas come from the people that we represent. That's why I'm asking for your quick input today. Senator Banks only wanted my response to one question. Do you support President Trump's leadership and the direction under this administration?
So you got a boilerplate answer.
One question. That's all this politician was measuring to decide whether he was still on the Trump bandwagon or not. Remember, a majority of Americans do not support Trump and his agenda. My first option was, yes, I support President Trump's leadership and the overall direction for the country is taking under this administration. Option 2, no, I do not support Trump's leadership or the current direction of the country under this administration. That was the only thing Senator Young wanted to, after I'd sent him this long list of separation of powers and judicial versus legislative and executive, that's the response I got.
You're a
commodity. Do you support Trump or not?
He just wants to know what commodity you are in that so he can act appropriately.
I also want to get in real quick, message to the City of Anderson Council. And the reason why I sent this message is I read an article in the Herald Bulletin this last week, written by Ken DeLabastide, that said, I think, I've got the paper here, I don't want to read it all, but it comes from January 17th, Ken DeLabastide. He says, in this story, Anderson considering sewer electric rate increases. Last increases were in 2007 and 2009. Now, I knew that was not true. That was not true. How many of you that have a sewer bill, Anderson Utility sewer bill, have noticed your sewer bill increase? Raise your hands. We've had callers into this program that have said, my sewer bill is going through the roof. So how could Ken DeLabastide say in his headline, Anderson considering sewer electric rate increases? Last increases were in 2007 and 2009. First paragraph, the city of Anderson is seeking increases in the rates for electric and sewer services. Anderson Mayor Tom Broderick, second sentence, said Friday it would be the first increase for the two city-owned utilities in more than 16 years. Now, what I did do is then I have explored Indiana Gateway. The Indiana Gateway is the site that gives you as a citizen access to all the spending for your local governments. Period. And what I found is that we have had, number one, now this is, okay, what I found is the electric rate increases as well as the sewer rate increases. And I broke it down. We have actually had increases from 2016 to 2023 in wastewater pilot payments. That's the money that the executive branch arbitrarily moves from the utility itself, what you pay the utility, over to their personal expending sprees, beyond the council approval. And what I found is this, so I knew it wasn't true what had been printed. There has been a $716,541.28 increase in this fund in wastewater. It's been moved over to spending as the administration decides. So for them to say there's been no increase, well, you obviously know that's not true because you felt it in your utility bills. How can this misinformation be so blatantly printed in the Herald Bulletin? Also pointed out that for the years 2016 to 2025, it's over a 9-year period, Broderick's been in office. He has moved more than $1 million a year. Pardon me. He has increased the general fund budget $1 million every year he's been there. Every year. So I sent to the Anderson City Council, and I addressed them all, included them, including the Herald Bulletin.
Which is a bipartisan council.
Absolutely. So I sent it to Ms. Culp, Dixon, Freeman, Graham, Harless, Landers, Newman, Turner, Wagner, as well as the Herald Bulletin. And here's what was in my letter. And I urge you guys to contact your city council people. They are voting on whether to increase your rates again after you see this, your bill increase. So you know it's not true, that the bills haven't gone up. Members of the Anderson City Council, I have researched history of the city utilities via the Indiana Gateway. I have learned during the years 2016 through 2023, the executive branch has increased the wastewater pilot payment in lieu of taxes, a total of $716,541.28. As wastewater does not require the city to ask for state approval, this increase has been passed directly to the utility customers. In addition, the city general fund has increased $1 million each year, 2016 through 2025. Again, that's Gateway numbers, for a total of $10,864,170. As a citizen and former mayor, I ask you to take this information into consideration before voting on utility rate increases and before acting on future budget approvals. I'm available for any follow-up questions you might have. Sincerely, Kevin Smith, and I'll list my address.
And for clarification, it did pass the first reading.
And I didn't know that at the time. I must have written it on the day they were voting for it. I didn't even know it was on the agenda.
If I understood the vote correctly, I was witnessing the vote, and there were 5. It took 5 to pass, and they got the 5 to pass it.
But that was only the first reading.
Right, and 4 members of the council abstained.
Yeah. Why don't you just vote no? Well, what's voting to abstain? I don't understand. I will hope that these city council members examine, because now we found out through that story, you can't even trust the newspaper, your local newspaper, to tell the truth. I mean, this is appalling. And there's more research I did on the utilities, but I think I'll save that for next week. Because I've stated these numbers before. Your utility costs, your general fund costs, your taxes have increased at the local level. This is just... Anyway, I mean, what program besides Kevin Smith Reports would talk such malarkey stuff? What would they do?
None. You're the best at talking.
As
malarkey.
I pointed out in, let's see, I'm gonna save that because I know I'm gonna have to respond to that again.
You're saying you know a thing or two because you've seen a thing or two.
Hey, isn't that a TV commercial?
Hey, you know, real quick, while
Yeah,
you're looking
yeah,
for that, we were talking about phones and
Yeah.
everybody on their phones, and it's just funny looking around this room while everybody's on their phones.
Yeah.
As we look for
Except
things
me,
to do. Yeah, well,
right?
Personal
But I
computers.
probably had it
If
up.
screen, when people complain about screen time, I grew up in an age where I spent 8 hours on looking at wavy lines on Cinemax, waiting for just it to clear once for a millisecond. That didn't bother me a bit.
My first, and we've got Kyle Pierce in the studio with us, who's our local elected representative to Indiana state government.
Proudly wearing an Indiana
First experience at TV games was one called Pong.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.